Greece, and Rome. It will be better than last class, I promise. So in Mesopotamia, we saw city-state by Sumerian, and the first empire by Akkadian, and second empire by Babylonian, third empire by Assyrian, and the last empire by Babylonian again. And we learned Egypt last week. And let's see Greece. Okay, Louis. Give me 1 second, everyone. Good morning, Louis.
Good morning.
Professor, what's your favorite kind of art?
Huh?
What's your favorite kind of art?
My favorite art. So we just talk about what we learned last week. So today we will learn Greece and Rome. And the Greece is here. So the Greece comes from Aegean culture. And the artistic cultures of Aegean parallel in time those of Egypt and Mesopotamia about 3000 BCE. And the last period of Greece is called Hellenism. And Rome is here. So Rome began before the century and continued to the 4th century. So now let's briefly see Aegean culture first before the Greece. All right. So Greek culture arose on the land bordering sea, the Aegean Sea. So there are 3 Aegean major cultures. Cycladic, the Minoan, and the Mycenaean. The Cycladic is centered on a group of small islands in the Aegean. Cycladic art is a puzzle because we know almost nothing about the people who made it. It consists almost exclusively of nude female figures like this. And Minoan culture is based on the island of Crete. It's here at the southern end of the Aegean. And centered on the great city of Knossos, Minoan culture can be traced to about 3000 BCE. And we take the name from a legendary king called Minos, who supposedly ruled at Knossos. The palace at Knossos features post and intel construction with painted column topped by pillow-like capitals. And the last one is Mycenaean. And Mycenaean culture, so called because it formed around the city of Mycenae, flourished on the south coast of the Greek mainland. And Mycenaean built palaces and temples, but they are also noted for their elaborate burial customs and tombs like Egyptians. And burial places in and around Mycenae have yielded large quantities of exquisite gold objects, such as a rhyton, this is it, in the shape of Orion's head. All right, so the word classical refers to two cultures, Greece and Rome. The aesthetically indicates artwork of the highest quality and standards. Greek philosophers were the first speculate on the nature and purpose of art, sculpture, painting, and architecture were discussed as technique. In our words, technology and technique. So technique is things requiring a special body of knowledge and skill to make. So there are three artist periods in Greece. First is archaic period, and the next period is classical period, and the last period is Hellenistic period. So let's see the archaic period first. So this is called crater. So crater is one of many standard Greek pottery shapes. A crater was a vessel used for wine. And this is Koros. Greek statue depicts an anonymous boy. Thousands of such figures were curved, all of them in the same pose, and all nude, young, and idealized, with broad-shouldered, slim-waisted, and bodies. And Greek female statue is called core. And the painting technique on the pottery is called red figure style. The ground is painted black, and while figures are left mostly unpainted and with only thin black lines to describe the forms. The red that result is the natural color of fired earth. And earlier archaic pottery has employed the reverse color scheme with black figures painted on a red ground. So now we see the classical period of Greece. The classical period dates from 480 to 323 BCE. It's considered to be the height of Greek art. The Greeks invented contrappost pose to express the potential for motion inherent in a standing human. Bronze was the favored material for freestanding sculpture in ancient Greek. So now we see the classical period of Greece, and we just saw it. So let's just compare these two styles of Greece sculptures. So the left one is archaic sculptures, and the right one is classical sculptures. So we can clearly see the differences between these two sculptures, right? So what are the differences? Can you tell me?
The hair.
The hair.
The hair on the first one looks like he's from Egypt instead of Greece.
Yes.
So
yes.
they probably traveled up that way.
Exactly. What else?
The detail.
The details, that's right. How different?
The classical sculpture is more detailed. The lines, the shadows. It's more visual.
Yes, great. And anything else?
The body shapes?
The body shapes, okay. The body shapes.
The one on the left is closing his eyes. The one on the right is not.
Very good. You guys are really good. So the left one is the archaic carousel sculpture was the amazing actually achievement to create a freestanding sculpture. But despite of the great process, it still look unnatural, right? And it's, it has less detail. And the movement is very limited, it looks like this, very unnatural. And the movement, and we can find the movement is only the here on the left foot, right? Only here, not other part. On the other hand, the classical contrapposto sculpture shows incredibly natural movement. So it has lots of details, very realistic, and it shows about movement, right? Look at the hands and foot. It was just about movement, right? It looks like something about, to talk to someone, right? So we can tell this is height of Greek art. That's, very big, movement. And although all ancient Greek and Rome art is broadly known as classical, the art produced during classical period was considered by later European scholars to be the finest of the finest. And Athens was the cultural and artistic center at this time. Athens, which was chief of the city-state, it had been built around the high hill Acropolis. So this is Acropolis. It's almost ruined, but like this. So this is Parthenon at Acropolis. Greeks dedicated to the goddess Athena Parthenos, or Athena the warrior maiden. The Parthenon is a Doric style temple with columns all around the external and an inner rows of columns on each of the short walls. So this is called Doric style columns. Let's see it. Let's see the details. So this is Parthenon's, okay. So this is the Parthenon's Doric style column. So Doric style column is simple, very simple, and very classic compared to the other two column styles such as Ionic and Corinthian. So what's the difference of the Doric style? Can you compare with the other column styles? Except for the decoration part. When you focus on the middle column part, is it too hard to recognize?
Seems like the second one, the lines are a little more slanted going up.
Oh,
So like
yes.
more so like a spiral.
Yes, very smart. That's right. That's right. So the Doric style's columns are not straight. However, like this, it's not straight. However, the tall columns may appear, to bend inward at the center, so they look absolutely straight from the viewer's eyes. So that is called antithesis. The architects of the classic Greek art calculated the relative errors by the viewers and applied it to the temple. This is amazing because they did it 2,500 years ago. And that called antithesis. Last period of Greek art is called Hellenistic, and it begins about 323 BCE. This style emphasizes balance and restraint while also favoring dynamic poses and extreme emotion, like this. So sculptures of this era poses with theatrical quality and complex poses. So there is a video about Hellenistic art in modern Rome. Please watch it to see more beautiful Hellenistic art. So now we recognize the different styles by the Greek art period. The archaic period shows the limitation to show the movement, and the classic period shows the completed technique to create natural and classic freestanding sculpture. And the Hellenistic period shows emotions and dynamic movement beyond the classic. And let's see Rome. The Roman era begins about 510 BCE. It overlaps the Greek era. The Romans admired Greek art and copied many of their works. So actually, the Hellenistic sculptures, all of the Hellenistic sculptures were made by Roman, because most of Greek sculptures are destroyed by the Middle Age. So most of the Greek sculptures were made by Roman. Now we see. So the right. So Roman art tends toward realism. So as you see on the left wall painting, all the figures look very natural and realistic. The Romans were best known for their architecture and engineering. Their most famous monument is the Colosseum. The Colosseum covers over 6 acres and it has 80 arched entryways and exits. And it's accommodated over 50,000 people. It is truly a symbol of Rome. Okay, so ancient Rome is there is kind of short because they just copied the ancient Greeks' work, but there are lots of things in the after the Middle Ages and the Renaissance and Baroque. So we will see later. So that's it for this the prehistoric and the ancient Mediterranean world chapter. So I hope you enjoyed to see all the ancient arts through this chapter. So now let's see today's discussion. Okay.